Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so it's been a minute since I did one of these, TED Talk, think pieces type videos, but I thought today would be a good day to sit down and chit chat with you guys, um, give you some updates, and really get your guys' feedback on something that I've been thinking about for the past few days. So as you know, episode 11 of KinnPorsche has dropped. Um, and there's been a lot of discourse about the character Vegas. Now, spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, I'm gonna spoil some stuff, so go somewhere if you don't want to be spoiled. If not, come on, continue. So after the crazy mess that happened in episode 10, episode 11 shows us Vegas as he is torturing Pete. He's been captured by the, I guess, lower family, and he's being tortured and assaulted. I can't say too much because I don't want to get demonetized, but he's not doing consensual stuff to Pete, and it's very uncomfortable and upsetting. But we see him get reprimanded for his actions from the past episode. I'm not sure what's going on in the story. Like, it seems like the enemies are fighting with amongst each other. So, like, what's going on there? So it's a bit hard for me to comprehend what exactly is going on. But his daddy is not having it. He sentenced Vegas to the safe house, away from what's going on till everything calms down because they are up to no good, obviously. And he decides to bring Pete along to be his plaything and pet to take his anger out on, which is so upsetting because I really like Pete and I don't want this for him. During the transfer to the safe house, the torturing stuff continues, unfortunately. And at the end of the episode, there seems to be some type of reasoning to why Vegas is so unhinged and so vile, right? It's his upbringing with his father. I believe he had some abuse from his dad, and he feels inadequate compared to the other family. So he acts out, lashes out, has so much built-in anger and so much stuff. So he does these horrible things as a result, right? This is where the discourse comes from. It seems to be what seems to be happening is that everybody is feeling sympathetic for Vegas, right? Mind you, Vegas and Pete are presented as a secondary couple in this show. So it's maybe this kind of like Stockholm syndrome situation because Pete asked him a few times to, you know, end his suffering, but he's like, "No, I'm gonna play with you. You're gonna be my pet, yada yada yada." But you know, it seems that they're gonna be booed up at some point. Um, and people are feeling, I'm not sure if it's everybody who's read the novel or just people who are watching, but people are feeling sympathetic towards Vegas and like, oh, his upbringing is the way he is. It's not totally his fault. And other people are like, okay, and it's still he's a terrible person. He's been assaulting Porsche a few times. Pete now, like, who else? We don't know who else. We don't know who else he has done stuff to. So it's who cares about all that backstory and sad woo woo woo. And I just wanted to talk about this and chime in because I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting how it seems that everyone's very combative online about this. Even people who don't agree with um, Vegas's actions. However, they for some reason still slightly want to give him sympathy. And I want to know why that is. Is it because the character is conventionally attractive? Is it because the show is telling you this is a pair that's booed up? Why does this character who has done vile things deserves a redemption arc? Deserve sympathy? I'm very curious about that because it seems to be a trend within these BL dramas. Characters who are set up to be the love interest, the end game, everybody gives them so much grace all the time. It doesn't matter what they do. Everyone tries to find the understanding because the show will give you a reason why they do the things they do for the most part. And you're supposed to be like, oh, well, and then they may change at the end or not be as bad or whatever the case may be, or their love interest decides to be with them anyways, despite them disrespecting them and doing them dirty. And the fandom is just likes to seeing these boys kiss, and they're like, okay, whatever, and like, and it's a bit concerning. Now, I want to make this video because I remember this type of thing happening in my comment section when I first started doing reaction videos to these dramas. The first drama I did was Tarn Type. Now, if you don't know, now you'll know that both individuals in that party were horrible to each other for one reason or another, and it was disgusting. I was not rocking with it, and I vocalized that. Now, mind you, at that time, when I was doing my videos, this is my first show I'm doing, there had already been a set of expectations for a reactor for these shows. You're supposed to go with the flow. You're supposed to cheer and shout for the boys, and you're supposed to kind of feel sympathy for certain situations and doing all these things. I was not doing all that. These characters were jerks, and I can't, in good conscience, be like, oh, it's okay after they use derogatory slurs and they're physically attacking each other and they're forcing themselves on each other. I wasn't rocking with it. And I remember I was feeling a bit weird in the comment section, but I was like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Until there was a scene that Tarn forced himself on to type in the shower. And I was dragging that situation. I was dragging Tarn. And someone in the comment section was like, oh, well, he didn't stop him. That means he liked it. That's when I had to make a PSA in this following video of how off-putting that was and disturbing that was to me. Did not like it. And then after that, most people were cool in the comment section. They weren't coming at me sideways because they were also quoting the book. Well, the book is this, and the book gave more context, and this, and this, because I was dragging what was going on in the show, because the show wasn't showing everything that happened in the book. And I was like, well, I'm not reading the book. I'm watching the show. I'm basing my commentary based on what I'm seeing on this show. It is awful. And I just wonder why the fandom likes to give excuses for these characters to be with each other because you want them to be with each other when they're doing these bad things almost constantly. I don't understand that. Why do you have to give them grace so much? It's kind of like, think of it this way. It's kind of like when there's like a school attack shooter. Hope I don't get demonetized, but shooter happens in schools, and the news likes to put up a picture of them with their family, or just a picture, or just bring up a point of they had trouble home. Their dad wasn't around. The mom neglected them. They were bullied. They want to garner sympathy for these people who are doing these heinous crimes, and for what? Knowing what they might have gone through their childhood or through adolescence doesn't make up for the fact that the families are grieving now. They lost their loved ones, children, church members. They're gone now because of these people. Why do we need to give them sympathy? For what? For what? That doesn't make any sense. And I bring that mindset to watching these shows. Yes, they are fictional characters, so it's not that serious. However, the conversation still remains the same because everybody comes at you sideways when you go against it. And I know this. I'm the one who goes against ships and stuff like this in these shows often because these characters are awful to each other and they don't get no real redemption or change their behavior to show their love or their love interest. Some shows do it. The History series is known for that. They really be rocking with their love interest and they be really doing right by them as much as they can. You know what I mean? And I love that. And some more modern day shows take out some of the terrible tropes they've been implementing in various shows throughout the years, but some shows don't. Now, when it comes to KinnPorsche, I don't know if this show is setting up for you to really be rooting for this love situation between Vegas and Pete. It's just something that's happening and we're just watching it happen. I don't know if we necessarily need to root for it because to me it doesn't make sense to root for it because how Vegas is so terrible. Like I don't understand why you would need to root for them or justify or kind of give them sympathy. I think the actions he has done, he's too far gone at this point. He's too far gone because the thing about it is though, it's not that he's only done these things. He's acknowledging why he's the way he is. He could talk about his backstory, his upbringing, how his dad treated him, so he needs to do this. He knows why he's doing these things and continues to do so. It's not like he, at least for now, he's not trying to get help for that, some type of therapy, some type of changing the status quo, doing things differently than what his dad did. You know what I mean? He's not like doing any of that. He's still just being an awful person and then just blaming it on his upbringing, it seems. And yeah, maybe Pete is kind of like giving him some type of grace for some reason. That doesn't mean we have to. I mean, I guess you can if you want to. I want to know why. Why are you wanting to give sympathy to a character that's doing these type of actions? Like, I want to know. It's love is love, obviously. But however, if the show presents a character like this and they're doing these things, why do we need to root for him to, you know, get with someone, especially someone he's abusing, especially like he's abusing his love interest physically, mentally, emotionally, calling his grandma up. Like he's being awful. He's been awful to our main lead, Porsche, twice. So I don't understand, you know. And I know not everyone is really on Vegas' side, but some people want to be. They're just like, well, and maybe they're just mesmerized because it's aesthetic, because the way he looks. So they're kind of like, But I don't. I really want to know how you guys feel about this, because I don't think all the ships need to sail on all these shows. However, these shows are romance shows, so something has to ship, I guess. I felt really weird about the sailing ship of Why Are You, Tutor and Fighter. When Fighter attacked him, I was like, oh, I'm done with this. This ain't it. One and done. And I was willing to be like, okay, it would have made more sense if he did that and, Tutor forgave him after he was like, okay, I'm gonna go get some therapy. I'm gonna get myself together. My dad's upbringing really destroyed my mentality on things, and I really did not handle that in the best way. And I hurt you. I'm going to go get some help so I can be better for you. I would have been like, okay, all right, perfect. Let's start to heal. Let's get him into a good place so I can be together. I wouldn't rocking with it, but instead he, bought them the hotel at the beach, and that's his sorry. It's these shows. They really did be trying it, and I like a good villain. I like a good villain. I like to dislike someone. Someone's being awful and terrible. I like to dislike them. I like to, I hope they get their comeuppance, see what they do, see if they win. It's all very compelling. But I don't know if it's always, because here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having a sympathetic villain. But he's still a villain. They're still horrible. But we can sympathize with them. We can. It's terrible that his dad put him through that. It is terrible. However, oh well, you're too far gone at this point for me at least, to be like, oh, okay, well, you know, no. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to know your thoughts and opinions on that. I just think it's very concerning, and I don't think it's warrant, like, it doesn't warrant fighting on social media. I'm seeing people really getting upset, like, just on both sides. Either you're with this ship or you're not with this ship. You're very passionate and you're very like it's. And I love a discussion about these shows. I love it. That's why I make these videos, so we can discuss and talk about these things. However, it just seems like, I don't know, people's true colors, or people. I don't know what I'm seeing here, but it makes me uncomfortable, which is why I don't react to most shows, or I don't like the term boys love, because it breeds this type of behavior. It is so uncomfortable for me. And these are just fictional characters. Imagine real people, and people are defending something, a real person. People have done that before. Sympathize with people who have done domestic violence and done all these different things. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe they like their music. Maybe they think they're attractive. I don't know. It's just they have a reason to kind of like ignore the heinous crimes, and I just don't understand why. So maybe you guys can enlighten me. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about KinnPorsche? KinnPorsche, let me give out my quick little thing. My friends, Shaki, in the group chat, in our the reactors group chat, he asked us what's our rating for KinnPorsche. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think the cinematography is really well done in this show. The acting, the action, the choreography on it is so great. I just think the storytelling is very poor, in my opinion. Maybe, not poor. Let me not say poor. I just feel like There's so many silly, goofy scenes so many times that waste time. It's just filler at this point, and it takes me out of the show. I feel like I'm wasting time watching. That's why I stopped making weekly videos because I'm just like, we're sitting here. They're talking about dyeing their hair. They're talking about watching a movie. We had a whole episode with them going on a date. And I understand. I get it. This is a boy's love. This show reminds me that it's a boy's love. It's not a crime thriller with queer folks. It's a boy's love that happens to have crime and thriller and stuff in it. It's there's two different things. There's two different things. Kind of like if you think of, I don't know if you guys haven't seen, but like the Player and 3 Be Free, those are crime shows with queer folk in it. I love those. They're not boys' love. So it's just a difference. They may have, same-sex couples in it, obviously. However, it's not a romance show, so it's not focused on that. It's focused on other things. And I wish this show was that. Hell, even Not Me did it better. Not Me really had to focus on everything else and then the coupling. This could have been that same thing I thought it was going to be based on that trailer, but they lied to us in that trailer. They sure did. They sure did, because why are we getting Disney Channel like comedy in this? Why is it, what gets me every goddamn time I talked about this? Everyone's like, oh, the calm before the storm is supposed to balance it out. Why? We are not 12. We don't need this cushiony, silly, goofy woo stuff in this show. We can have scenes that are like this, like the episode where they got lost in the forest, the beginning scene, it was so goddamn goofy. Them in front of the tree, figuring out which way to go. Cut that out. We can have heartfelt scenes of them talking to each other by the fire or kind of flirting in the water without having that goofy music or having it over the top and like cheesy. We can have that. We don't need to balance it out because it's going to get crazy. Why do we need it? Why do we need to be comfort? Like, we're not children. This isn't a children's show. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying let's have doom and gloom all the time, but let's not also have, Three Stooges comedy in this. It doesn't make any sense to me. But let me know how you guys feel. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.